I'm Glad My Mom Died author recently talked about the trauma she suffered while starring on the Nickelodeon series. In her memoir, McCurdy alleged that she suffered abuse at the hands of her late mother, as well as experiences with someone on set she referred to as the creator. After Jennette McCurdy opened up about the alleged abusive experience on iCarly, her co-star, Miranda Cosgrove, is voicing her support. So, what did she say about her co-star of 5 years? Let's find out. In her recently published memoir titled I'm Glad My Mom Died, former iCarly star Jennette McCurdy discusses the challenges she faced while working in the entertainment industry when she was a child actor. McCurdy delves into her time spent working at Nickelodeon as one of the stars of iCarly in the series Sam and Cat, which was a spin-off of iCarly but did not last long. This includes describing allegations of misconduct against the creator of both shows, whom she only refers to as the creator. According to McCurdy, she refused $300,000 in hush money from Nickelodeon to stay silent about what she experienced. This includes describing allegations of misconduct against the creator of both shows. According to McCurdy, the creator inappropriately touched her shoulders and encouraged her to drink alcohol when she was 18 years old. McCurdy does not name names. However, Dan Schneider was the creator and showrunner for both iCarly and Sam and Cat until the spring of 2018, when he was let go from the network. A recent article published in the New York Times discusses the situation with iCarly's creator, who has since parted ways with Nickelodeon in the wake of multiple allegations of inappropriate behavior that was brought to light in the media. McCurdy revealed to the publication that the aforementioned person was just one of many people who had taken advantage of her during her childhood. According to McCurdy's explanation, the experience she had during that period continues to have a significant impact on her life to this day. She said, "My whole childhood and adolescence was very exploited. It still gives my nervous system a reaction to say it. There were cases where people had the best intention and maybe didn't know what they were doing, and also cases where they did. They knew exactly what they were doing." According to McCurdy's explanation, the experiences she had during that period continue to have a significant impact on her life to this day. Miranda Cosgrove, who co-starred with McCurdy in the original iCarly and currently stars in the reboot series, also shared how she felt about McCurdy's comments. Cosgrove stated that she had no idea her friend was going through so much behind the scenes, and it hadn't even crossed her mind that McCurdy had been struggling so much at the time. The fact that McCurdy had always been the person on set making everyone else laugh made it even more difficult to recognize that something was wrong. McCurdy recalled in a previous interview with People that she once got drunk and went to Cosgrove's house, where she then attempted to purge herself as a result of her eating disorder, which led to a situation that required immediate medical attention. McCurdy said, "I got to her place and she let me in and puts on a show, and I go in her bathroom and I wake up 3 hours later and she'd been pounding on the door asking if I was okay, and there was no response. She also said she couldn't get in. I locked the door and she was sitting there terrified. Couldn't sleep because she was worried about me." She continued by saying, "Miranda was an angel. I could not have gotten through my late teens and early 20s without her friendship. It moves me to think of how much she was there for me." McCurdy made the announcement that she would not be joining the cast, a Paramount Plus show, after it was confirmed that iCarly would be returning after a reboot towards the end of the previous year. She gave the reason that she had left the acting industry. Even at the time, Cosgrove stated that she could completely relate to how her former co-star felt about the situation. McCurdy was the youngest of her 4 siblings, which included 3 brothers, a mother who was very religious and a Mormon, a father who was evicted, and grandparents who were helpless. In spite of this, she always had the impression that she was the adult in a group of children. For example, she would clean up milk spilt on the carpet caused by her brothers so as not to set off her mother. She would feel pressured to call her grandparents every day so as not to be lectured, and she would have to scramble to fit her family into their overcrowded car so that she could have 3 hours of solitude at church. After providing an illustration of this challenging dynamic within the family, McCurdy moves on to discuss her acting career in a smooth transition. McCurdy had no interest in pursuing a career in acting. She longed to play the role of a child, but her mother projected her own Hollywood dreams onto a 6-year-old Jennette, putting pressure on her to count her calories and wear a big fake smile in auditions in the hopes that she would be cast in a role that would put her in the spotlight of the world. The relationship that McCurdy had with her mother was a complicated one. At times, she yearned for her approval and validation. In fact, her need of approval and validation was so intense that she developed an innate desire to please others. As a result, she inadvertently surrendered control of her diaries, schedule, relationships, finances, and even her body during shower checkup. But after that, she kept her distance from her mother while she was in her final years, and this continued until 2013. McCurdy recalls that for some reason, it gave her a sense of liberation, and she had a fleeting glimpse of joy and autonomy that was rightfully hers. Back in August, former iCarly star Jennette published her memoir titled I'm Glad My Mom Died, which quickly became a bestseller. In the book, Jennette discusses her life as a former child star, her experiences at Nickelodeon, and her relationship with her mother, Debbie, including the abuse and manipulation she endured from the time she was a young child until her mother's death from cancer in 2013, when Jennette was 21 years old. The book also examines Jennette's time spent working at Nickelodeon. Since the publication of her book, Jennette has received an outpouring of support from devoted readers as well as her famous friends for her courageous and open account of her life that she had shared. Former Drake and Josh star Josh Peck posted a photo of himself and his friend Jennette on Instagram, along with the caption, "My friend Jennette wrote a book and it's out today. She's brave, funny, and thoughtful in ways few are. Get it today." Jennette McCurdy has revealed the upsetting contents of an email that her mother once sent to her, in which the latter disowns her and refers to her as a ugly monster. 1 month after the publication of the book, Jennette is scheduled to appear on the renowned talk show Red Table Talk with hosts Jada Pinkett Smith and Willow Smith to go into greater depths about the revelation in her book. McCurdy wrote in her memoir that she thought of Cosgrove as a sister while they were filming iCarly. She describes her relationship as a source of camaraderie and emotional support, like sisters, but without the passive-aggressive and weird tensions. The two drifted apart after the show ended, which hurt McCurdy. Cosgrove, who is 29, talked to the New York Times about the book and said she didn't know what her co-star was going through. After McCurdy's book came out, it went straight to the top of the New York Times list of bestsellers. Okay guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again in the next one.